Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Rednecked video. Again, my name's Chris, and if you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. Today I'm going to actually put in a raised bed right here. I've got a pretty good sized in-ground garden back here that I grow in. I do like to grow most of my stuff in the ground, but there are some things that I think just do better in a raised bed or a container. Those would be things like carrots that need really loose soil. We've got a lot of hard clay, a lot of rocks around here. It's hard to grow carrots in the ground. They do much better in a bed or a raised bed or a container or something. Garlic and onions I think do really well there because you plant them really close together, and doing that in the ground in the weed fabric that I've got covered over here is just a little bit tricky sometimes. So I'm gonna put in a raised bed. I plan on actually replacing a couple of my self-watering containers, Rubbermaid tub self-watering containers. The old ones have cracked and split and they're just no good anymore. So I went to the store to get some, came across a better deal actually, just a wooden raised bed for about $50. So it was a pretty good deal considering 2 tubs would have cost me about $24, $25. I'll get a lot more room out of this, a lot more growing space out of this one raised bed than I would 2 tubs. So that's what I'm gonna be putting in today. First thing I need to do is I need to mow this grass down, weed eat a little bit so I can get this all under control and I don't have to worry about fighting the weeds as this thing starts growing. All right, so I got all my prep work done, and what I did, I mean, you saw it, I weed-eated the ground, and then I laid down this weed fabric underneath it. Something I kind of wish I would have done when I put these little boxes in here is I took this weed fabric all the way up to the fenced garden area where the weed fabric is in the garden, so hopefully that keeps the weeds down back here. I can't quite fit my mower back here, so I have to weed-eat it back here occasionally. So I think what I'm gonna do in the, in the fall when these beds are done, I may take them apart, lay weed fabric down along the back side of them and around them, and then put them back together. I don't know if I'll do that or not. I mean, it's not that big a deal to weed eat, but it's just easier now. I got this prep work done. I don't have to worry about it. So I did have to piece together a piece of weed fabric, but that's gonna work just fine. Now what I got here is, let's see, I went to the hardware store today and planned to buy a couple of containers. And I got to looking at things and I found these blocks here. These are pretty nifty little blocks, cement blocks. They're made to fit a 2x4 or 2x6 or whatever. So a 2x12 is what I've got. So this can be a 12-foot high bed, but it just slides right in that block. And then you've got the other one, slides on this end right here and holds it. So, and I'll stack them too high. So that's basically how I'm gonna build this bed. So I need to see if I can get it all put together and get it kind of square anyway. So let's see how I do here. Actually, I don't want to go off this one. This is the one I measured. So there. Square this board up and then I'll put the other one on and we'll go from there. So what I did is I wanted to leave a 2-foot gap in between here. It's 13 inches. I think we can scoot it a little bit further. I think I want to leave a 2-foot gap, give myself plenty of room to get in between these, so I'm going to move it forward a little bit, quite a bit actually. Somewhere right about there. Okay, now let's see. How are we doing? I can come back just a little bit. Can't. Need another set of hands is what I need. too far. Let's do this. There's 2 foot. There. Now I'll measure the other side. There we go. Just about right. Stick that block in there. There we go. One of them's already done. All right, so that went together pretty easy. So in case I didn't explain it, these are just 2x12s. I just bought 2 8-foot long 2x12s, cut them in half. So I got basically a 4 foot by 4 foot, a little over because the block takes up a little bit of room, 4 foot bed, but they're pretty sturdy. You know, these are made to where I could put a piece of wood on top of this, screw these together if I wanted to hold them in place, but I don't think it's gonna need it. I mean, it's pretty sturdy. Not exactly level ground here, but I think that's gonna be okay too. So now, I gotta fill this thing with dirt, and this is quite a bit of soil. So to keep my costs down on the soil, keep my labor down because I'm gonna go get free compost, I'm gonna fill the bottom of it with straw, and that'll be just fine. It will take up a whole lot of room. All this stuff will decompose and turn into dirt anyway. So I've got a bale of straw that I really don't need till fall anyway, and I'll buy another one by then. So all this straw is gonna go in here, and then I'll put the dirt, well, the soil, compost, rabbit manure, all that on top. And this will, like I said, help me keep my costs down, or my labor down anyway. I won't have to get quite as much soil to fill this bed, and it'll feed the soil too. All this stuff will break down. It'll be just great. All right, so got that straw all laid down, put a layer of rabbit manure over the top of it. It's not real thick. I mean, it looks like a lot, just enough to cover it. That's gonna help that straw break down a little bit. Also takes up a little bit more room, add some fertilizer to the ground. So now it's time to add some dirt, or some soil, I should say. Let me dump this in here. I'll tell you what this is. Okay, so that's a potting mix that was in one of my other, this box right here, and I took it out and refreshed it with some fresh dirt. So there's nothing wrong with it. It just probably doesn't have a lot of nutrients left in it, but that's okay because we got plenty of fertilizer from the rabbit manure, and the straw is going to be breaking down, all that good stuff. So it'll be fine to use in there. It'll do a good job of retaining moisture and, you know, keeping my watering requirements down, I should say. So there's that. I've got a bag of garden soil, or a container gardening soil, that I can put in here. So I'm gonna go grab that and throw that in here as well. All right. Woo! Making a mess here. Don't want to waste too much of that. we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, I'm still a ways from being full though. I don't have to necessarily fill this thing all the way up, but with all that straw in there decomposing, it is going to compress quite a bit. So I do want to get some more soil in here. So I'm going to run to the compost facility and load up some compost, and then I'll bring it back, dump it in. We'll see how we go from there. Well, got a pretty decent load from the compost facility. Got to load it yourself and you got to unload it yourself, so it's double work, but it's free, so I can't complain about that. Now, I just got to get it unloaded and on here, so no sense in you watching me do all that. I'll get it all loaded up and then come back and talk to you about it here in just a few minutes. All right, so I got this filled up, took, I don't know, about 3 wheelbarrows full of compost. I've still got quite a bit left over, so that's gonna go in my wife's flower garden up at the front. She needed some anyway. So I'm gonna start planting some onions. Plant those about 1 inch deep. I'm gonna plant those about 4 inches apart, so I'm just eyeballing it here and guessing at it. I'm probably pretty darn close. We'll see, I'm sure they're gonna be fine. These are, what are these? They're just called onion plants, apparently. I don't remember what kind they are. I got some, I think I got Walla Wallas and Texas something. You don't want to plant onions too deep. I am going off of onion sets because that's what they had, not onion bulbs, which is fine. Just like I said, about 1 inch deep. Let's lay these out. And now this dirt's probably going to settle when we get some rain, so I may have to come in and top dress it a little bit, but onions don't need to be planted real deep, so it's probably not going to be a big issue. And see how many of them I can get in here. Like my precision measuring device, 1 inch is about my first knuckle, so that's what I use, about 1 inch deep down to my first knuckle. That's about it. And I just eyeball the 4 inches apart. That's not that important, especially in a raised bed. They're not going to get overly crowded. If they grow big enough they get overly crowded in here, then that'll be a good thing. Won't be a problem. Clean off some of that. All right, well, onions are planted. I don't know how many, probably about 100 onion plants in here, somewhere close to that anyway. And I still have some room left. I can plant some other things in. So I think I might do some carrots in here. I love doing carrots in raised beds. They just do so much better for me there. So that may be the thing that I'm going to be planting in here. I'm not sure just yet. I got to figure it out. Little salad garden that I planted over here, it's doing okay. I've got some things that sprouted pretty good. The spinach, not so well. I'm going to have to re-sow some of that. The lettuce, I'm going to have to re-sow a little bit on this side. And the cilantro itself, not real great germination, so I'm gonna have to re-sow some of that. I think a lot of it's just been cold. It's been really cold. We had a hard freeze the other night. And the radishes are doing great. Got plenty of radishes, but everything else is kind of just a little bit sparse. So I'm gonna re-sow some of those seeds. It's about time now. We should be past all our hard freezes. Really should be past our frost too at this point, but who knows. So anyway, total cost for this bed, about $40 in wood and bricks. The bricks were $2 a piece. The wood was, how much was the wood? I think it was $12 a board. So there's $24 in wood, another $16 in the bricks. Now, of course, if you had to buy the dirt, then there's an expense with the dirt. That's probably the most expensive part, honestly. But the dirt didn't really cost me anything. I ended up using free resources for that. So about $40 for this bed. So that's not bad for a good little simple raised bed. Went together very quick, very easy. Pretty happy with it. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, God bless.